Today's participants for learning area English, our team from Kenya Literature Bureau, our panelists would like to welcome you to today's facilitation on changes in English learning area. This will be done by Dr. Phyllis Mwangi. Before we set off, I'd like to request one of us to lead us in a word of prayer. Mr. Nyiri, can you start us with a word of prayer? Madam Winnie Mosiria. Madam Winnie Mosiria. Doris Kabira. Okay, Mariana, lead us in a word of prayer to start this day.
Let us believe and pray. Mighty and everlasting Father, we come before you this morning. We want to say thank you for your grace that you've given us this day. We know that it is only the grace of God that has made us have the day healthy and feeling okay. I bless our facilitators and Kenya Literature Bureau and all our teachers. As we start the meeting, be with us, be our guide, and may your grace work with us. I pray all this, trusting and believing in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so very much, Madam Mariana, for starting us up. Today's participants, I wish to welcome you to our English. Sincere apology when I've posted something mathematics, I'll pull it out later. This is English. Our participants today, Kenya Literature Bureau is an organization whose history we want to hear in a short while, how it started and how it has traveled with you or with the teaching fraternity and the Kenyan populace to where it is today. I'd like to welcome Madam Marjorie Mbaluka Mukui to give us an overview and the journey Kenya Literature Bureau has taken in publishing since inception to date. Thank you. Welcome, Madam Mukui.
Thank you, Mr. Koech, and a very good morning to our teachers who have joined us on this call this morning. We appreciate you taking your time this morning to join us. Allow me to take you through an overview of the history of Kenya Literature Bureau. KLB is 77 years old, and we began our journey in 1947 as the East Africa Literature Bureau. And 30 years after that, the East Africa Literature Bureau became a department in the Ministry of Education. And on the 4th of July of the year 1980, we were enacted under the Kenya Literature Bureau Act, Cap 209, with a mandate to publish and print quality educational materials. And we have been on the journey since then, and we have competent staff, and they are proud of the work they do by offering a wide array of knowledge and learning materials available both in soft and hard copy. Alongside the staff, we are home to top authors who actually sit in a panel together and come up with these materials that meet the quality standards as guided by KICD. And we are happy today, we have one of the top authors who will be speaking to us on matters English. Secondly, we have a vision, mission, and core values, and we envisage to have a knowledgeable and inspired society. And in the long run, our mission is to provide innovative and competitive publishing and printing solutions. We are the only publishing house with an in-house press, whereby we are able to print for you all your materials, both textbook and non-textbook. And we have the state-of-the-art facility, which is based here in South Sea. And at the heart of our activities, we have core values which we guard jealously. We have customer focus. Everything we do, we focus on the customer. We have staff and authors who have integrity. We are creative and we're innovative, and we publish quality materials and also give you quality printing solutions. As I said earlier, we are in the business of publishing and printing quality educational materials, both scientific and literature materials. At the heart of our activities, we have a citizen delivery charter, which guides us on how we shall engage with you, our customer. And our processes begin by acquiring a manuscript. A manuscript is a raw format of a book. And of course, it is free of charge. We do not charge you to process your manuscript. I'm happy that we have our assistant publishing manager, Mr. Patrick Chunguti, who will take us through more about how the manuscripts are handled. And after that, these manuscripts are now taken to the printing press through a printing order and signed work order, and this now becomes a book. After the book has been printed, we sell the materials to you, and we operate in an ecosystem whereby we work closely with the warehouse team to ensure that these books leave our warehouse, get to the bookshops or to you directly based on how you have engaged with us. And of course, the selling of these books is guided by a price list, which are distributed both online and hard copy. And we are guided, and we actually adhere to the pricing policies that are guided by the government of Kenya through the Ministry of Education. Again, we operate in an ecosystem where we have suppliers who give us our raw materials, and of course, we engage with them as per their terms of contract. And when it comes to respondents, whether it is written or you are here in person, it is free of charge. If it is written, we shall be able to respond to you within 14 days. If you are in person, of course, within 10 minutes of arrival here at South Sea or our customer service center, you shall be attended to within 10 minutes. And in the event you are making a phone call, we shall ensure that the phone does not ring more than 3 times. And now we even have a WhatsApp channel whereby we're able to communicate with you real time on our WhatsApp channel, which is actually our customer service number, which is 0724 256 629. Thank you so much, teachers of Kenya, and we do hope that you'll enjoy and listen in throughout the webinar. Asante sana.
Thank you so
Back
very
to
much.
you, Mr. Koech.
Asante sana. Keep the screen kidogo tu on, just kidogo tu, yes. Thank you so very much, Madam Ukui, for the elaborate overview of Kenya Literature Bureau. As she so said, and in our presentation, our vision is to generate or produce a knowledgeable and inspired society through publishing and printing solution. That is our vision, to have a knowledgeable and inspired society. The books which we produce, the knowledge resource materials we produce will create this kind of society. And that society, to start with, is teachers. This is a teaching fraternity which is knowledgeable, and that is our mandate. We have grown over time to be teachers with the support of Kenya Literature Bureau through her publications. We saw under 844, before even the new curriculum, we had Kiswahili Kitukuzwe. Later we got Kiswahili kwa darasa, primary science, primary social studies, and so forth. We had Let's Learn English and Let's Learn Mathematics in the revised 844 curriculum. Under high school, we have Kenya Literature Bureau practically supplying books to every learning area. That means, that creates that possibility of a knowledgeable and inspired society. You are inspired because today you have a job. Today you are able to facilitate and teach and also be a reference point in the society. You are inspired. So that is our vision and for you. Kenya Literature Bureau is owned by government. Government is owned by all of us. So Kenya Literature Bureau is your company. We encourage you, therefore, to believe in this organization, in her products, and in her service. Let us all grow Kenya Literature Bureau by reading, by using their books, her books, both course materials and reference materials, including readers. We have a huge portfolio all the way from preschool. Kenya Literature Bureau, your organization has a cohort of books for preschool, 3 brands for preschool. One brand, key brand, is called Skill Grow. Skill Grow is a main brand with all the learning areas under the brand Skill Grow. All the learning areas, key learning areas. We have a supplementary or a supplementing learning material called Tayari, both for mathematics and language activities. That is to supplement the Skill Grow and even your teaching. We do have one called Fast Track Phonics for that market segment, a product that makes you, the preschool teacher, teach within the curriculum design and the right knowledge. This is one book that enhances the pronunciation and builds on the literacy course, which has been integrated in the next level, the grade and upward. Literacy is the foundation of literacy is created, the foundation of literacy is built by the Fast Track Phonics. As we come over to the grade, we do have grade 1 to 6, Visionary, as the main course book. We, as the main brand, we have got Visionary for every learning area. English is central across board. There is no class from PP to whatever class we're discussing which misses English or which misses any learning area. We encourage you teachers, therefore, to gel with our books, interact with our books, interact with your books, because this is your organization. We encourage you teachers, therefore, to relate with Kenya Literature Bureau through the Visionary course books. We have supplemented grade 1, 2, 3 in English, mathematics, and Kiswahili. And because we're in English, we've supplemented grade 1, 2, 3, not even supplemented, provided an alternative. And it has become the most efficient alternative, KLB early grade English. We've branded KLB I. That is a series, Maths, English, Kiswahili, and it is used. The government of Kenya, through a circular, has said that is a quality course book. Through the circular, you've been guided to adopt KLB I, early grade, formerly called Tusome. That is the course book, which is along with Visionary course book. Either of them can be used as course books in your school, and they meet the curriculum expectations. The route of the building of these books took different directions, but achieving the same results. So we from KLB gives you a better platform to be a greater teacher. Grade 4, 5, 6, we have Visionary English, along with the other Visionary SKUs. The brand Visionary has the other subjects. That is what I'm calling SKU in business language. Those are the brand lines, the title lines within the brand Visionary. Up at junior school, we have the Top Scholar. One of the most performing book in the Top Scholar series is English. English is one key course material. In our estimation, we feel every teacher should know and interact with. We at Kenya Literature Bureau, your organization, your company, therefore, is proud to inform you we have the course material English for grade 9, we have grade 7, we have grade 8. All the books have have been generated or have been built along with the teacher's guide, with all the attributes of CBC brought on form. We have our in-house style of having books which are quality in terms of content, meaning they meet the qualities of a good book in the light of CBC. The competencies, the 7 competencies are embedded seamlessly in our content through the various activities, through the various illustrations, and so forth. We have the competencies, we have the values embedded, we have the linkages, so that you would be in a position to refer to a mathematical activity, CRE activity, or any other subject learning area effortlessly while using a Top Scholar or Visionary or Skill Grow or KLBI, because we have built these books in a quality way to embed, to make sure that they are quality in the light of the CBC. They do not compare with any other competition book. I want to mention this loudly, because others have borrowed 844 and packaged and continue to confuse you to the extent that some of us keep asking that your book is shallow because it doesn't have a lot of notes. That is the whole, we've had a shift, a total paradigm shift from the 844, which was more oriented into so much literature, to the child-centered. The other one was teacher-centered to the child-centered, activity-based. And we've done so efficiently by providing you, therefore, the series which I've mentioned, from Skill Grow, Visionary to the Top Scholar. Every subject area has a TG. We've written these books with simple language. Simplicity provides efficient communication. We've not used big words to say the obvious, yet we've said the obvious, simple language, without compromising the quality of the book, to the extent that you do not have to struggle while using a KLB publication, be it at JSS, be it at mainstream CBC, or the lower level. And we are doing so with full knowledge that as we move to the high school, we are working with you totally with all the publications. I want to assure the teachers who are here that Kenya Literature Bureau is the only firm, your firm is the only firm that has published 100% of the course materials in every subject area. Unlike other firms, we choose. They choose Kiswahili, they choose English, they choose what to give you. As we give you, you choose from our selection, from our provision. We do not choose whom to serve amongst you. That is why you are safer and happy reading from Kenya Literature Bureau. As Madam Mukui did say, we will supply you our books through the bookshop model. Our distribution system is through bookshop. So the book listed books will be bought at bookshop level. So that is the model that we are using. We have a team of about 20 staff out there distributed within the entire country to serve you, to give you information, to give you the books, to give you anything that you require to acquire a KLB publication. With the support of the head office, you will still be in a position to get all the information that you require. I want, therefore, to take this opportunity to welcome you all to enjoy. We have among the biggest facilitation we have. Dr. Phyllis Mwangi, along with Patrick Chunguti, are very efficient in matters English. The little English occasionally I borrow from Chunguti, I borrow from Dr. Phyllis, and the other panelists who are not necessarily lead panelists, I borrow from them occasionally. They've done a good job. Dr. Phyllis Mwangi has done sufficient storybooks along with some of you. One of our key storybooks, I'll mount later, which I really love and I've read again and again, is Cry No More. A story which I'll later enumerate, paraphrase the way it has come out. So I want you to enjoy this facilitation and enjoy the services from our organization, your organization, Kenya Literature Bureau. I want to bring on board now Mr. Chunguti Patrick to introduce Dr. Phyllis Mwangi. Welcome, sir.
Yes, thank you, Marketing Manager. My name, as you've been told, is Patrick Chunguti. I'm the Assistant Publishing Manager. Coach has said many things about me and Phyllis. The only thing that we do is to ensure that we meet your needs as teachers. I'd like just to begin to give an overview of what we do here in the publishing department. In the publishing department, we have 16 editors. These are the people who are involved in the development of the materials that you use in schools. All these editors are communication specialists, but mainly they are former school teachers like you. So it's also possible, and we have proved that, right, that you can still work from being a teacher to an editor in a publishing company like Kenya Literature Bureau. So in this department, our duty is to produce top quality, compelling content that meets your needs. And here in our department, Kenya Literature Bureau, we don't take shortcuts in product development. We ensure that we go all the way to ensure we meet all your needs. I know there are probably other publishers who maybe take shortcuts in product development. Us in KLB, we don't do that. Product development is a huge investment in KLB that involves a very long and thorough process. This process, of course, begins by a very good selection of authors. As you have been told by Coach, one of our renowned authors is Dr. Phyllis Mwangi. Most of actually all our English authors are experienced teachers in high school and universities who have a good grasp of the language. So, and that's why you have seen much of our content that we've developed in our books. The content is usually superior to the other products that are on offer in that market, and you can bear me witness. If you look closely at our books, they are well designed to ensure that all the needs of the learners are taken care of. All our books, and again, you can prove me right by looking at the materials yourself. We are not blowing our trumpet. We would like you to look at the materials closely. Those materials are 100% aligned to the curriculum. Of course, if you look at the passages are really interesting and they grasp the attention of the learner so much that learning becomes a very enjoyable, fruitful exercise. We ensure in our books, in our learning materials, we mainstream all the values that are required, the competences, and the pertinent and contemporary issues. If you look again at our books, we have very well-defined assessment tools. And we have also provided for learners information that they can use to assess themselves and evaluate how much they have acquired the content, the skills, and the concepts. The language, of course, we have used in our books is language that is easy to understand, easy to follow. Then again, we have also provided certain aspects in the text that really attract the attention of the children. We have provided things like think about this, reflect on this, so that we make learning all-rounded, not just English, but also widen the horizons of the thinking of the children in terms of their critical abilities. So, as an institution, we are committed to continue providing to you the best quality learning and teaching materials. We will never let you down. That is one of the promises we've made. Since Kenya Literature Bureau was instituted, having started as East African Literature Bureau to the point it was instituted by an act of parliament in 1980, Kenya Literature Bureau is known for quality. If you want quality, you know where you get that quality. It's because we don't take shortcuts in product development. It's a huge investment for us. But then again, it's guided by the needs of you users that we require to meet. So without much ado, I would like to introduce our speaker of the day, Dr. Phyllis Mwangi. Dr. Phyllis Mwangi is one of our oldest authors. We've been with her for many years. She began with a series, I know quite a number of you know, the Excelling in English series. She has written the Visionary English, grade 4 to 6. Of course, with others, she has also written the Top Scholar English. She has written a book on English composition called Flying Colors in English Composition and Joy of Poetry, among others. I'm just mentioning just a few because of time constraints. Dr. Phyllis Mwangi teaches at Kenyatta University, and she has a doctorate in linguistics. Any teacher, many of our teachers have passed through her hands, because I can say without fear of contradiction that Phyllis is one of the best experts in English in this country. If you look at those materials, you can quickly see they are written by experts, people with a lot of teaching experience and research in English language. She has participated in international fora where she has presented papers in English in a way of ensuring that the disciplines continues to be vibrant and take care of emerging issues in our country. So I can say that we are privileged to have Phyllis as one of our writers, and among others, we will assure you that we'll continue producing compelling content, robust content that will meet your needs. We still welcome feedback from you teachers. Every time you think there's something we needed to improve, or even when you think there's something we've done so well, we invite that feedback. Kindly write to us and tell us what you think of our materials, because we believe in continuous improvement. So at this juncture, I would like to invite Dr. Phyllis Mwangi to give our address and our presentations. Dr. Phyllis, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chunguti, my editor and assistant publishing manager, KLB. Thank you, Mr. Justin Koech, the marketing manager. I'm grateful that I've been given this opportunity to interact with our participants today. I am the least among the others. I am not sure I live up to the high billing, but I know, God helping me, I'll be able to take the participants through today's session. I'm a classroom teacher, but experience I have gathered along the way. I'm sure in the audience, we have KU alumni. My pleasure to reconnect with you. And for those with whom we are meeting for the first time, I hope this is the beginning of our journey together as we help each other understand this new education system, CBC. So I wish to share my screen now. I hope it's visible from your end.
Yes, it's visible, madam.
Okay, thank you. Now I don't know what I've touched, but I'll sort myself out briefly, shortly, I mean. Okay, still visible, I believe.
Yes, it's visible. It says double tap.
Okay,
to add.
okay. There we are. So I will take you through what I've called a glimpse of the curriculum design from PP1 to grade 9, although I'll also briefly mention senior school. And then I will touch down on the nuts and bolts of CBC. It will be a short presentation. Don't worry, I don't plan on keeping you here for too long. So as we all know, the levels in the CBC system are pre-primary. Previously, I heard them call it I. Now I think they are calling it pre-primary. I meaning early years education. Now I think they are referring to it as pre-primary. Lower primary grades 1 to 3, upper primary grades 4 to 6, junior school, previously junior secondary school, now junior school grades 7 to 9, and senior school grades 10 to 12. Okay, we begin with the PP1 and the PP2. Here, the area of learning is referred to as language activities. Note, it is not English language activities, it is plain language activities. Why? Because they are supposed to learn in the language of the catchment area. So if it is a typical rural area, then the dominant language in that area, if it's an urban area, then it will be either English or Kiswahili. Activities, the accent here is on activities geared towards helping them achieve literacy, that is reading and writing, and they are supposed to be able to do these subconsciously. They are doing activities that are fun, that they enjoy doing, that help them to interact with each other, and then they pick language naturally in a natural setting. There is no deliberate effort to inculcate any language skill the way it happens in the higher levels. As I said, they are simply supposed to learn how to hold the pen, how to shape letters and so on, how to read very basic stuff. And as I've pointed out already, this is language activities. Whatever language is at the disposal of that child. Grade 1 to 3, the area of learning is now English language activities. So there is a focus now. It is English language activities, just as we have Kiswahili language activities, indigenous language activities. So we are intentional now about the language of youth. It is English. This level is still heavily activity-based because learning is implicit, that they learn subconsciously through exposure to a lot of learner-centered activities. So these activities are supposed to foster or promote the acquisition of the 4 language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And as we all know, they all rest upon the bedrock of grammar. You cannot speak if you're not using grammar, if you're reading, whatever you're reading is couched in grammar, writing, and so on. So this is the focus of grade 3. You can see now we've moved from language activities, that is broad, whatever language they've been exposed to at that point. Now we begin introducing doses of English. From PP1 to grade 3, as I've said, learning is supposed to be implicit. You're not very deliberate about what it is that you are introducing to the learners. They are supposed to pick language, whatever language skill, as they go along. What activity are they doing? Is it geared towards helping them speak better, listen better, read better, write better in English? The theory at work here is Piaget's theory of cognitive development, and how can we unpack it and bring it to the language classroom. The teacher is supposed to facilitate, and the key word here is facilitate, the learners to, 1, observe what is in their immediate environment. How? For example, by building new knowledge. Take the theme of greetings in, I believe, grade 1. They already know how to greet. From home, out of school, they know how to greet people. What kind of greeting have they been exposed to? Probably sasa, hello, morning. Now it becomes more formal. How do I greet my teacher? So, polite language in greetings, how you greet your seniors, how you greet at different times in the day, that is new knowledge. Because out there they'll say sasa, whether it is morning, noontime, or evening. They already knew how to greet, so they are adding to the existing knowledge. And they are revising what they knew, because they know now you don't greet everyone the same way. Piaget also tells us that we learn actively by doing. If you look at the designs, we have the themes: home, school, activities at home and school. So what is it that they do in school? What is it that they do at home? You're a teacher. Your learners have just come from break. They are back in class. Is it possible to teach verbs using what they have just done during break? I pick an example from a KLB title, grade 2. To build on what it is that they have done out there. They have first-hand experience. Now, we package that in a learner-friendly, in a grade-appropriate story. The bell rang, our verb there. The grade 2 learners ran out of the classroom. Ran. It was time to play. Some children went to play football. Others went to play netball. Some children sat under the tree. They were talking with their friends. Lori and Raju from grade 2 Blue stood near the flowers. Lori was teaching Raju a song. Raju wanted to sing the song to his baby brother in the evening. We've taken it home now, activities at home, or the children liked break time. So the teacher can ask them how many of these they have done during break or during lunch. What other different activities did they participate in? And they are busy learning verbs without consciously being aware of it. The designs in grades 1 to 3 are now standalone. Previously, you will recall that they were in volumes. So now they're separate, standalones. Grade 1 separately, 2, 3. Yes. There are 15 themes in grade 1 to 3, actually all the way to grade 9. There are 15 themes. But previously, grade 3 had 10. So it was harmonized with all the other grades, and the additional themes are, there's a second one on technology. So technology appears twice, but different aspects are covered. We have talents, etiquette, domestic animals, sharing duties and responsibilities. So those are the additional themes in grade 3. We look at grade 4 to 6. Now, we are no longer talking about English language activities. English language activities, the area of learning is English, and this is the case all the way to senior school English. So it means, yes, it is still activity-based, but now Mr. Koech mentioned notes. Yes, here we begin giving a bit of notes that we want to equip them with the knowledge they require to do activities. So some notes, not too much, enough for them to be able to take background knowledge so that they're able to do the activities. Grade 6, there have been some changes, particularly with regard to fixed and multi-word expressions. Here we are talking about similes, metaphors, proverbs, sayings, phrasal verbs, idioms. So those ones were introduced in the revised design, and the KLB book took care to infuse them in a very natural and friendly way, because it's possible to fix all these proverbs and similes in existing material, and they stick out like a sore thumb. It looks contrived. Care is taken to ensure that they fit in very naturally. And what informed the bringing in of these multi-word expressions, according to KICD, is that there is need for learners to learn idiomatic English in natural contexts so that they are able to understand speakers globally. They are able to communicate globally. At this level, learning is explicit. From PP1 to grade 3, it was implicit. We said it was unintentional. You don't bring the skill, the concept to the fore. You let them enjoy the activities, but in the meantime, they're acquiring the requisite language skills and concepts. But here, it is more deliberate in the way the information, the concepts, the activities are presented. If you're teaching nouns, it is clear that this is about nouns. There'll be activities, yes, but an activity that zeroes in on a particular concept. This level from 4 actually to 9, it's exploratory because they are yet to discover what it is that they are good at, their interests, their talents, their abilities. This is the stage during which you, the teacher, will help them discover this. They may not be very good in English, but they could be very good when for example, they're doing songs. They are required to come up with a tune, or they're required to sing a song. There'll be that one learner who will stand out, and you can clearly see they have a gift in that area. So if this is consistent, later you can point them towards the creatives, creative arts and sports. If there's one, when they're required to dramatize something, to role play, again, somebody could stand out. Be keen as a teacher as you evaluate them, you know, the core competencies, the values, the PCIs. You will have a place to indicate that they have a talent in that area. So again, you note that the area of learning is English. Grades 10 to 12, this is a senior school. We are not yet there, but the learning area still remains English. There was some thinking towards advanced English, but that has since changed. It remains English unless things change yet again. Previously referred to as the level of specialization, now the thinking is that this is the pre-career stage. It's no longer exploratory. They have chosen their pathways based on the way you, as a facilitator, as a teacher, guided them. You look at the portfolios over the years and see what suits them best. English will be compulsory for everyone. The themes reduce from 15 to 9. There'll be scattered literary aspects. For example, poetry, skits, oral narratives that are meant to carry content in the different language skills. For example, they will be taught how to write poems. They'll be taught how to write skits, because we've seen non-literary scholars excel at writing literary works. For example, remember The River and the Source, written by Dick. So it has been felt that it is important to expose them to some of those literature genres, regardless of their pathways. Literature, a separate subject, but optional. Literature will be optional. English is not. Initially, it had been decided that there would be two papers in English, functional English, and advanced English, that the humanities would go for advanced to prepare them for university education, but that has since changed. English is now compulsory for everyone. Okay, now we look at the nuts and bolts of CBC. What does CBC really entail? We find that the complexity increases across the grades, complexity in terms of themes. In grade 1 or in the lower grades, you find simple themes such as greetings, my friends. But you come to grade 9, we have heroes and heroines. We have sea travel. Obviously, those are concepts that the lower grade learner cannot grapple with. And even when certain themes are repeated, for example, introductions, you have introductions in the lower grades and you have them again in grade 7. But in the lower grades, they are just introducing self. I am Mary. What is your name? But in grade 7, you are introducing yourself. We are building on what we already know. So we go back to introducing self, introducing others. So you've met 2 of your friends who don't know each other. Can you introduce them to each other? And you introduce people in a group. Some of you are in positions of leadership. How do you introduce those in your team? So you can see that the complexity is incremental as we go higher up. There are many themes that cut across the environment, for example, technology, etiquette. But as I've said, the complexity is not the same, and care is always taken to build on existing knowledge, as we heard from Piaget. And KLB products are very keen on ensuring that this actually is done. Complexity also increases in terms of skills and concepts. If you look at the lower grades, reading is specifically for fluency and comprehension. Can they read fluency? Can they read with speed, with accuracy, with expression? Do they understand? It's possible to read fluently, read fast enough, but you haven't understood a thing. So fluency and comprehension. But when we come to the higher levels, there is still fluency and comprehension, but on top of that, we have independent reading and close reading. Close reading is intensive reading. This is where we are handling different literature genres from grade, that is junior school, senior school. So the themes themselves are simply the vehicles that carry the concepts, that carry the activities. Any theme can be used to deliver any content. So we shouldn't feel, for example, that tense can only be covered in the theme of etiquette, for example. Just to illustrate how a KLB product, grade 4, handles independent reading, which is newly introduced at this level, because we said in the lower levels, it was a fluency, the focus was on fluency and comprehension. So there's an activity according to the design that requires them to work together with other learners and form a reading club, just loosely, let them just team up with others so that they can build morale, they can keep each other accountable. They'll choose storybooks, which you, the teacher, as a facilitator of learning, can choose those that are grade appropriate, simple poems, rhymes at their level, simple newspaper articles. In newspapers, we have the junior section, there are stories there that they can interact with, of course, with your very close guidance. So they are supposed to keep meeting. They meet periodically to tell each other what it is that they have read so that they can interest each other in reading widely. So when I hear you read an interesting story and you narrate it to me, I would also want to read it. And you see the skill now is silent reading. They are growing. So that is independent reading. As I've said, there's also close reading where they begin analyzing literary genres. In CBC, the content and activities are made very relevant, and KLB ensures that this happens in all its products. How? It reflects the ever-changing experiences of the learners as they grow. So the activities in the pre-primary, in the lower primary, in the upper primary, junior secondary, they are not the same. We keep increasing the level of complexity, relevance to the level. Like in junior school, they are already adolescents. So for example, you wouldn't, if I may cite an example, there's a passage on menstrual hygiene in a junior school. That is something you wouldn't find in the lower grades. We are trying to connect with their experiences as they grow. Then the 21st century skills, the design is key on this, inculcating these skills such as communication, collaboration, and digital literacy, among others. And you will find that they are very well captured in KLB products in accordance with the design. Again, relevant to the communicative approach to language learning, that they are learning language as they engage in relevant and meaningful activities that connect with their experiences. It is not abstract. The content is not abstract. It is made meaningful, enjoyable, depending on the level. So all these are done through varied learning experiences. What do we mean by varied? It is possible sometimes to think that too many learning experiences are provided, but they are meant to cater for different types of learners. There are those who learn best by hearing, the auditory learners, others by touching, others by seeing. So these opportunities, these activities are supposed to cater for all these learners. There are even extended activities in our products so that if you have that learner that will finish whatever task everyone is doing in no time, and they become idle, and there is a likelihood they'll engage in mischief, then you can direct them to the extended activities which cater for multi-abilities. CBC encourages an integrated approach to the learning of language skills. And here I give an example. That, for example, I could be teaching sounds, any given sound, and the vehicle I choose to use is a poem. So as they recite the poem, they get to practice the articulation of that particular sound. I could tell them to write a poem containing, so now I'm integrating pronunciation with writing. Can they write? They themselves, they generate a poem containing the sound, the target sound, and then they recite it. So we have written, that's the writing skill, then we recite it and we give each other feedback. Or grammar, I could tell them to write a poem that features a certain grammatical structure, for example, adverbs. I could also correct pronunciation while teaching grammar. I'm teaching irregular verbs. So, and this is something that as KLB, we are very particular about. The kind of sentences, the kind of structures that we expose the learners to, even though, because we are targeting more than just what we are teaching. Like if I'm teaching tense and I choose a sentence such as, he said they won one game. Yes, an irregular verb, said. Another one, won. While I'm at it, I'll point out, learners, we don't say said. This word is not said, it is said. The same vowel sound in bed, said. So they've learned two things. That this is an irregular verb, it doesn't add ed when forming the past tense, but they also know how to pronounce it from here on. One, that this is a homophone of the next word there. One. So learners, this is not one, it is one. Again, they have learned this. We don't say wind. That's not the way we form the past tense. And they have also learned the pronunciation. Another example, I saw her as she bought one packet of flour. I have an irregular verb there, saw, and another one, bought. So I'll be keen to tell them, we don't say so. So is S-O, S-O, or S-O-W. This one is saw, the long O. So again, they get to learn. We don't say seed. I seed him yesterday. He saw, and the pronunciation that we don't say flour, we say flower. So you'll find that kind of stuff in our books. Carefully chosen examples. And when we go to the TG, we explain to the teacher, please point out this as you handle this. The activities are exciting and they're logically presented. How? Because the language is a spiral. We move from the simple to the complex. If we are handling tenses, we'll move, tense and aspect will move from the basic past tense, for example. Past tense is easier to acquire than present tense, because present tense has issues of subject-verb agreement. Of course, past tense has the irregular verbs, but still, all said and done, it is easier. And that's the way the design expects it to be handled. Again, from the known to unknown, as I said, for example, in greetings, in grade 7, you revisit self-introduction before you move on to other types of introduction. The activities and the teaching points, because we said here we have notes, some brief notes sufficient to facilitate the execution of activities. They are deliberately made grade appropriate right at the level of the learner in terms of language, in terms of structure, in terms of experience. Ultimately, these interactive learners, because the learner is doing and doing it collaboratively with others. There are those that are individual, there are those that are done in collaboration with others. The ultimate aim is to help the learner learn English and use English, and not learn, but use English in and out of school, lifelong learning. The materials are learner-friendly in KLB products. I have an example here drawn from grade 6. There is a poem. They're supposed to handle sound H. Kindly note that the sound is H. I know, we know it, but just in case, one or two don't, or just to remind ourselves that the sound or the letter is not H. It is H, letter H. And again, we give that kind of guidance in the TG, that as you handle this, begin by telling the learners, today we are practicing the pronunciation of letter H. Which letter? H, not H. So just an illustration. This is an excerpt of a poem in our grade 6 book, and there are further instructions there on what exactly they're supposed to do with it. For lack of space, I just included, say the poem below, pay attention to the words that have letter H. Handa and Hannah. Here are Handa and Hannah on Honia Hills. Handa has helped Hannah harvest honey. Handa has told Hannah honey from Honia Hills heals. The long and the short E. Handa and Hannah will sell the honey to Hot Hotel. Oh, how healthy honey from Honia Hills is. So there are other stanzas still heavily steeped in words that contain letter H to give them sufficient practice and something that they can enjoy, something that they can relate to. They all know honey, they all know hotels. In the TG, guidance on the strategies for mainstreaming core competencies, values, and pertinent and contemporary issues, that is the PCIs, are given. I gave an example from grade 8, creativity. So there is an activity where they are supposed to read a short story and dramatize it and draw moral lessons from it. So the story is provided a very, very interesting story. Creativity and imagination is developed as the learner relates lessons from the short stories to own lives, connecting what they read with their own lives. Collaboration is promoted as the learner participates in role plays to ensure their teamwork skills, to enhance their teamwork skills. They are working together. Unity is promoted as the learners work in groups to unpack lessons in the short stories. So they are working together. They've got to be of the same mind as they discuss what lessons they draw from the story. Patriotism and good governance are developed as the learners endeavor to make their community better by applying the lessons learned. So what is the relevance of what we've learned in this story? So you find that, and this comes immediately after the activity. You're being told, what can I do with this in terms of the core competencies, the values, and the PCIs. And as a facilitator of learning, you can evaluate, for example, are they able, unity, the value of unity, are they able to work well with others? Do they contribute? We are talking about creativity and imagination. Do they contribute to this discussion? So apart from evaluating the learned content, it's also possible to have a checklist of these other principles of CBC.
Daktari, may I request that you expand the screen significantly? The font size, yes. Keep expanding.
Oh, now I lose content. Okay. Oh, let me see. Oh, now, okay.
That's better.
Can you see the edges? Is that
yes,
any better?
Yes, that's okay. Better, but if you were to further expand, it would still be okay.
Okay, let me see.
No, you've gone past.
I thought so. Let's see.
Yes. No, go back. Expand, Kiasi. Expand. No, expand. Yes, keep expanding. Yes, there. Thank you. Oops.
Okay. Is that okay now?
You've slightly exceeded, but...
Mr. Koech,
yes.
if you may allow me.
Thank you. Yes.
Dr. Phyllis.
Yes.
At the bottom of your computer, that's where you are pressing the arrow.
Yes.
There is a small icon that shows like you want to beam. No, move towards your, go towards the minus. Make it to 100.
Minus.
There, stop there.
Yes.
No, okay, slide again to 100. There. Then
100 there.
100. Now move to the next icon that looks like it is a white screen. Next to the negative, there is an icon on your there. There you go. Just click. Yes. Excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you. Appendices as I approach the end. So a list of suggested learning resources is provided at the end. After all, we are talking about the appendices of the design. And again, this is something that we have taken care of in all our books. We have a section titled Suggested Learning Resources for the Substrand. So we give all the help necessary to the teacher We also have a list of suggested formative assessment tools. An example, grade 8, suggested formative, and note they're just suggested, you can come up with your own, but we choose them according to the activity. So suggested formative assessment tools for the substrand: oral discussion, retelling a story. This is based on the activity I said, where they're reading a short story and dramatizing it and retelling it. Writing task, peer assessment. Can they give each other feedback as they retell, as they dramatize? Suggested formative assessment tools, again for the same, for that substrand project that you can ask them to go and collect similar stories, portfolios. They will keep them in their portfolios. Anecdotal recording. There is that outstanding learner who will just outshine everyone else in the dramatization, in the retelling of that story. So that is anecdotal recording. You will make note and detail what their strengths are, and this will be useful later when you're guiding them on the career path. Oral and oral questions and observation schedule, among others. There are many other tools that are suggested for different substrands and activities. And mine is to thank you very much for giving me audience. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, our facilitator. Asante sana. Now we want, maybe I get back to Mr. Chunguti. Chunguti, Mr. Chunguti.
Yes, I can hear you.
May you want to have an support to Madam, or we go to the question and answer?
Yeah, I think we can go to the question and answer, even though I've been answering some of them on the wall, but we can.
You are muted, but...
Yes, I'm saying we can go to the questions now.
Thank you so very much. Using from the chat box, there is one anonymous attendee who has asked, at what juncture are set books used? And she is asking, which are these set books if they are there? So the issue is, at what point do we introduce or use set books for the junior? And I want to imagine this is for the junior JSS level.
Yes, if I may answer that question, the set books basically will be used in senior school. What we have for grade 7 to 9 approved readers that will function as set book, but they'll not be set books as such, but they are approved for use for grade 7, 8, and 9. But set books per se, in the way we understand set books in the traditional sense, will be used in senior school, and they will be evaluated probably around next year. We should be having them. Thank you.
Thank you, Chunguti. One Francis Nyamora, welcome, sir. You've been a reliable participant, always present, is asking, do we use English to translate all the themes into Kenyan Sign Language for all grades to be fixed for learners with hearing impairment? To you, the panelists, do we use English to translate all the themes into Kenyan Sign Language for all grades to be fixed for learners with hearing impairment?
Phyllis, you can take that one.
Yes, I can attempt to answer that. Yes, KICD has an SNE, that is a special needs education section. They're very strong in that, so that's something they take care of. For example, the designs for whatever level are done, then they are passed over to the S&E team. About the materials, I don't know whether they are, I would assume, actually they have handbooks. KHCD has handbooks for that. You may know that KICD also publishes in areas where the mainstream publishers tend to keep off. So I would imagine that is one area in which they would do that. Thank you.
Thank you. There is one before we ask the members to participants to quickly ask theirs. There is one more from Paul Kiliswa. He's asking, how does one help a learner with good auditory skills, that is, can listen to you, read and respond to a question posed, but cannot write simple English words? He is asking for a suggestion on approach on how to teach children with difficulty in writing.
I would say that would depend on the level, because if, for example, in upper primary, in junior school, they still have that problem, then it is possible that they have a learning disability and they may need help from institutions such as KISE. But if it is a lower, if it is a PP, it is a lower school, it is possible to work with them through a lot of remedial work, through peer learning. Sometimes they learn best when you pair them up with learners who do not have similar challenges. But if it's higher up, if it is persistent, then that probably calls for closer investigation. What exactly? Is there a learning disability involved? Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to add on that, Justin.
Yes, yes.
As Phyllis has said, it's important for us as teachers to come up with the individualized education programs for learners who are lagging behind in the acquisition of certain skills. You realize that could be something to do with the background, probably where they're coming from or other intervening problems. So even before we think about taking them for assessment in terms of whether there are disability issues, it's important to come up with our own individualized program for that learner. How do you help them get from point A to point B? And that will be the beginning point, even before you start thinking of disabilities. Because many of us, sometimes when we think of disabilities, we look at impossibilities. But we believe these are learners that can be helped. Thank you.
Thank you, Chunguti. One Patrick Mackenzie is asking, since literature will be a separate subject in grade 10, is there going to be integration of skills?
Thank you, Coach. Yes, indeed. As I said, they could read a comprehension in English now. They could read a comprehension in the form of a poem or an extract from a play. Indeed, yes, there will be.
Thank you. There is a question from Captain Nakuru from Chelangat Koskei. She's asking Nancy. Nancy Chelangat Koskei from Kaptembwa Primary School West, Nakuru West. Pleasure to be informed learning is a continuous process. Any recommendations on how to handle a large class with reading challenges? Any recommendations on how to handle a large class with reading challenges?
I'll want Chunguti to add his voice to this. But first of all, let me add the previous question on the integration. Like, for example, in listening and speaking, there are performance aspects, pronunciation aspects, which are handled through oral literature. So indeed, yes, integration is there. Now, about reading challenges, one possible way, remember we talked about forming reading clubs. We talked about reading fluency. That is where they can help each other. When you divide them into reading clubs, different groups, and according to mixed abilities, very good readers and non-readers, it is possible for them to help each other out. You did mention that you have two types of products. In grade 1, 2, 3, you have Tusome books, and you have the Visionary series. The Tusome are particularly strong in building reading skills. Maybe if they are still struggling, even say in lower primary, it is possible to engage them with the Tusome materials, and they would be helpful. And as I've said, when they do it together, it's sometimes better than what you can do for them. Thank you. Chunguti, please.
Yes, I don't know which level of learners you are talking about, but I suppose if it is probably lower primary, as Phyllis says, you may want to look at the Tusome program, which is now being upgraded to the KPLP, Kenya Primary Literacy Program, which lays a lot of emphasis on sounds. One of the reasons why many of our learners don't quite develop the competence of reading is the way they are introduced to reading. If you introduce reading, when you expose children to letters rather than sounds, clearly they develop problems in reading. So it's important perhaps to look at the Tusome program, which is now the KPLP program, and see how you can get some of the materials and help your learners. The other thing, of course, would be, as Phyllis says, just come up with the groups where there is collaborative learning, because peer learning is also something that we've seen that is working among learners who are lagging behind in certain skills. Thank you.
Thank you. One Jacqueline Esami is asking, why should it be letter ECH when the sound in the words is clearly with HA, sound as in her? Let me repeat again. This is a question posted. You could check on chat box, 11:14 a.m. Why should it be letter ECH or H when the sound in the words is clearly with HA, sound as in her?
If I understand the question, the letter itself, the alphabet letter is H. And that's something that can be confirmed easily, H and not hey, H. But when you sound it in a word, you are not saying and, it is hand. But the letter, it's just like you say letter E. But when you come to pronouncing it, you'll say, for example, bed, but the letter is E, but you're not saying bid. So the idiosyncrasies of English, I guess. But at least the letter itself is H. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to mention that we have, Dr. Phyllis has received enormous support practically from everybody. One Odera, CSO Londiani, we've noted your appreciation and even your promise to further train your teachers using the notes and the knowledge you've gained from here. There are many other members, Esther Mwangi from Nyeri, Raphael Mwangi, KU alumni, David and Dati, amongst others, are appreciating what Dr. Phyllis Mwangi has presented. This is simply the tip of the iceberg. Get down to our books. Get down to our books and become the best you can be. She's only presented to you briefly what she has put down in writing. In Top Scholar English, Visionary English, Skill Grow English, or language, not really English, but language. She carefully used that word, that down there, we are not particularly on English, unlike when we cross over to the grade. I did hear properly. In the meantime, I want to say, just like someone has mentioned, how do we, the Tusome were good. The Tusome series have been rebuilt. They have been enhanced. Mr. Chunguti Patrick himself has been part of the KICD and Ministry of Education team who have rebuilt that book. And you will enjoy in the new year as we release the revised editions. Even the outgoing editions are equally good. So continue using the Tusome series in matters pronunciation. They will rebuild, they will improve your teaching. There's a question here. Are we supposed to teach grade 7, 8, 9 set books? Mr. Chunguti had indicated, but you could still go ahead and further breathe into this area.
Repeat the question again, Coach.
Let me get to the question. Will the set books be taught in grade 7, 8, 9? Are we supposed to teach grade 7, 8, 9 set books?
No, I think what I said earlier is that KICD has selected readers that, of course, meet the requirements of learners at that level. So you need to just look at the Orange Book and see what KICD has approved for that level. But set books are coming in senior school. But there are readers that have been approved for that level.
Patrick, a quick question to tie to that one is, good morning. If we do not have set books, why is it that the setters of assessments do rely on some of these books? Just to answer Franklin Omondi Owiti.
Which books are these?
the supposed set books. The books to set pace for set books. I think that should have been the case, indicated that these are setting pace for learning for set books to come.
I would like Phyllis to tackle that one.
Chunguti, yes, I think I want to back you up. The current KICD position is that there is no set book at that level. Initially, they intended to have them, but I think that was shot down by the ministry. The learners are exposed to read widely, but there are certain recommended readers at that level. They are recommended readers, and I've seen primary schools choose maybe some titles in the recommended list are more popular than others, but otherwise, even when it comes to assessment, it should not focus on the content of a particular book, but a skill. For example, if you're talking about fluency, can you read the content? Regardless of where, we are not doing themes and, but even if they were to test on themes, it would not be based on the entire text, but on the excerpt provided in the assessment. If you're talking about characters, those that feature in that extract, because the KICD, I think I'm well informed on this, KICD has no set book at that level. Thank you.
Thank you, Daktari and Mr. Chunguti. For confirmation, Chunguti, you can confirm to Robinson Luseso about rationalization. He asks, has rationalization of the design affected English for 7 and 8. Maybe the question would have been, has the revision of the design affected English for 7 and 8? That is a quick one.
Yes, of course. Actually all the designs have been revised, and I think that's formed part of Phyllis' presentation. She has highlighted areas that were changed and how we have also reacted to that in our books. So yes, the answer is yes. All our books have been revised in line with the rationalized curriculum designed for English. Thank you.
Thank you. A quick one from Edwin Gala. What is your take on the fact that NEC does not test writing in KPSEA examinations? That is a question mark. And then he further says skills in English has writing as one of them. That should run through the system. That is his comment. So he's asking, why is writing not tested? I don't know whether it's true. Can we confirm that writing is among the skills being tested by NEC in KPSEA?
Phyllis, kindly.
Yes, and unfortunately, he's right. Unfortunately, he's right, but it is supposed to, it doesn't feature in KPSEA, the national exam. It is supposed to feature in the teaching. That's why it is in the design. So they are supposed to write, because if they don't, and it will feature in junior school, because in junior school it's there, then they'll have lost the skill. So school-based, they're supposed to write, they're supposed, in the classroom, they're supposed to keep writing, but in the national, in KPSEA itself, unfortunately, it is not there. And I say unfortunately. But
thank you so very much, Daktari. Sorry.
Yes, come to junior school, it will feature.
Thank you so very much, Daktari. There is a question from Thomas Butan. Language books in PP 1 to 2 always shallow, yet our parents want their children to know how to read by end of PP2. How is it that possible? Well, the question is, I'm trying to reset the question, but I can read with the mistakes so that all of us can hear. Thomas says, language books in PP1 to PP2 always shallow. I do not understand that part. Yet our parents want their children to know how to read by end by PP2. How is it that possible, yet tuition was eradicated? So the question is saying the books, maybe you can answer, someone to answer, a panelist answer this, officer, this teacher. Are the books really shallow? What is the depth of a book? What is the depth of the content to be taught? Someone to answer this, officer.
I would like to answer part of the question, and Phyllis will answer the other part. I would like to probably react to the observation that they are shallow. And first of all, just inform the teacher that books are always aligned to the curriculum design. And as we have been taught by Phyllis at some point, learners at that level are supposed just to learn the skills incidentally. There is no deliberate effort to probably just give so much material at that level. But we need just to be clear on one thing, that the books must be aligned to the curriculum. And then number two, the spirit of CBC is not to overburden learners. We are giving learners information that is pitched at their level, so that, again, we do not go back to the knowledge-based curriculum. The CBC is basically centered on skills, competences, and attitudes. So we don't want to give so much knowledge that is not useful. So therefore, that's my answer for this, that we have to align the materials 100% to the curriculum. We don't want to give information that is not useful. Perhaps Phyllis can answer the other part of the question.
Thank you. I would say shallow is relative. Maybe this is an urban parent This is a middle-class parent whose child left home speaking English or Kiswahili, but otherwise for the average learner at that level, I would say what is provided is adequate. Let's keep in mind that learning is cyclic. For example, if for them to be able to read, they are using sounds. These sounds, we teach them at our level, at the university, the same sounds. If you look at right from that PP1, right to senior school, through university, you'll find the long and the short E, the long and the short U. And so if we overload them at that early level, then we might put them off. When you come to grade 1, actually the complaint I've heard is the reverse. There are those who feel that grade 1 to 3, particularly grade 1, is simply repeating what was covered in grade in PP1 and PP2. We are building, we are recapping, we are strengthening what it is that they learned. Because even as we sit here, you and I are not, especially when it comes to vowels, none of us even approximates the native speaker competence. So let's begin small, build it up across the levels. That would be my take. Thank you.
Before I hand over to Madam Mukui for direct questioning, direct raising of questions directly from participants, there are two common questions here, panelists, that learners do not know how to, they cannot understand, they cannot comprehend what they read. Others have difficulties in reading, and we've said Tusome books or early grade books are available as an aid, and that should be the primary step to take. Maybe how to understand the skills to understand what one has read. Dr. Phyllis, maybe you can give suggestions on how a child should build comprehension, understanding what one has read.
Thank you. If you look at the design, if you look at the books, there are comprehension strategies such as reviewing. Can you begin by looking at a title, if there is one, and try to guess, what will this be about? Can you look at the illustrations, if there are any? Can you just begin to skim, go through the reading text very quickly and get the gist, the main idea? And then as you skim, you focus on the first paragraph, the topic sentences, if it is an expository or a descriptive text, the concluding paragraph. Even before you delve into it, you want to familiarize yourself with the reading material. You're beginning to ask questions. The what, the who, the where of what, the how, so that as you come to the reading itself, you already have a fairly good idea of what it is about. Can you use inference skills? How can I guess the meaning of words that are unfamiliar without necessarily stopping to look them up in the dictionary? If you follow the comprehension strategies and they were laid out in the design, in the books, it should be possible to crack it. Thank you.
Thank you. As Madam Mukui is about to come on board, there is one more last question on not just on comprehension, but now on pronunciation. One, Lydia Munene, is asking, in lower grades, how do we help learners to pronounce the words this in singular and this in plural? the word THIS, that it is in singular, and the word THESE in plural.
Thank you. That's why I said we are still learning. That's the short and the long E. The long E, these, and with a Z, these. These, that's the plural. This. Again with a Z, this. So that is the short one. This book is mine. These books are mine. These books are mine. This book is mine. We still, as I said, even we ourselves are still far from perfect, but it is possible for you to play audios for them, let them crowd around your table and play. We have pronunciation audios that you can make use of. Thank you. And I mean from their phones, from a smartphone, it's possible to do that.
Thank you, Daktari. And indeed, every day we unlearn, relearn, and unlearn. Daktari, if you allow me, we normally have Q&A session whereby we unmute some of the attendees whose virtual hands are up. And I've seen we have a gentleman by the name of Zachary Mulwani. Zachary had put his hand up quite early during your presentation. So I'll allow Zachary to pose his question, compliment or comment to Daktari. And after Zachary, we shall have Ongeche pointers in that order. Karibu, Zachary.
I'm following from Trans Nzoia, that is Kipsagam Primary. I had some 3 points to put across. One is appreciation. I want to appreciate what KLB are doing and also appreciate the hosts and the facilitators for good work. Point number 2, I think it has been partly answered by one Dr. Phyllis about the KIPSEA, that is testing and writing skill. I think you as a team, that is KLB, you can liaise with the NEC, who are the key assessors in this system, so that they can come up with at least something to be put in place so that we can test our learners at the end of that grade, that is grade 6, at least in writing, even if it means some sentences, because when we build writing, we have the letters, the sounds, the words, the sentences. If it is hard to put across the essays as assessment, they can work on that. Then lastly, this virtual meeting is very good. As KLB, now this is just a suggestion. I think in the future it will be good also if you arrange for physical workshops where teachers can meet physically, learn, relearn, and maybe interact physically so that at least we can build the teams from the ground. Thank you.
Thank you for thank you for that question. Yeah, we all wish that they would test writing. I don't want to speak for NEC, but I think it's an issue of cost. They want everything multiple choice, ease of marking. I hope the situation changes. About the physical meetings, KLB management, over to you. You can consider that.
Mr. Coach, maybe this would be a good time for you to respond on the request to have the physical meetings, even as we conduct the online webinars.
Thank you. Very true. We will continue to have even regional webinars continuously across the term, even in the new term. And we will, if you share with us where you come from, we can organize physical meetings. We've always had physical trainings. We've always had. That is, we'll be doing invite us, but we have also planned a few. So it shall take place in the new year. But continuously we'll be running the online, but physical is still coming your way soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kwet. And I hope, Bwana Mulwani, you are well responded to your query.
I think it's okay, no problem. I've gotten the point and I'm waiting.
All right, asante sana. I will allow Mr. Ongoche Pontius to take the floor. Please unmute. Mr. Ongoche Pontius. All right, we'll give him a minute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you so much. Appreciation is very much in order for the organizer and the host as well. Now, I only have a question. I don't know whether it skipped my mind or it was not tackled. That is teaching vocabulary or new words in lower primary. I would like to get some highlight on the same because at times it gives me challenge. And even back in our school, I see it is challenging. So kindly, if at all, it was tackled, you can put some emphasis so that we get it right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I don't know if Jackie Mwangi is in the audience. Jackie, a KLB author, are you in the house?
I think Phyllis, she's not. She's not.
Oh, she's not. Anyway, in the lower levels, vocabulary is inbuilt. We have, if you look at the designs, at the very top, we have, after the theme, we have suggested vocabulary. That vocabulary is supposed to be infused across the skills. We said grade 1 to 3, here we have listening, we have speaking, we have reading, we have writing. So attempts are made to use the vocabulary suggested. And that is what per theme. So theme-related vocabulary. That is what they're supposed to be exposed to at that particular time. So we are not supposed to go looking for which words will which new words do I want to teach? No, it is those ones that are suggested by the design. And when they evaluate books, that's one of the things they check. They may be called suggested, but have you covered a good percentage of those words? So they are supposed to pick them naturally as they read, as they write. They'll be told, write a sentence using these words. Whatever they'll read will contain those words. So that is how, in a natural context, you can use them as you facilitate learning, you, the teacher. For example, in the very early grades, teacher itself may be vocabulary, family may be vocabulary. So you'll find yourself naturally using those words in context. Otherwise, don't struggle to come up with a list of words that that you should teach as vocabulary. Those that are in the design, those that are in the text, because the texts are a very good reflection of the expectations of the design. Chunguti, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yes, I think it's basically what you've said, that context especially is important even as you teach the new words and the vocabulary. And as you have rightly said, these words are usually suggested by the design, But that does not really prevent you from teaching other words that are related to the theme, as long as you're teaching them in context. That's what I would like to add.
Yes, and they are grade appropriate. Grade appropriate.
Mr. Ongoche, I'm sure now you're well guided.
Well guided. Thank you.
Asante sana, asante. I will now invite Honorina Mwashigadi.
Mkui,
Yes, yes, Doc.
1 minute, if I
Okay.
may add something still on that vocabulary question, that even as we handle vocabulary, remember I said some of these themes like environment, that will begin right from the early grades all the way to senior school, different aspects of vocabulary. So we must be careful not to largely confine ourselves to what we are dealing with in that grade, because we might want to introduce everything to do with etiquette, everything to do with the environment in terms of vocabulary. Then you find it further ahead. So that's why the syllabus guides closely. And as I've said, the books are a reflection of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc, for that clarification. I will allow Honorina Mwashigadi to take the floor. Honorina, when you're ready. Okay, I think we'll come back to Honorina. I will invite Penina. She just raised her hand a few minutes ago. Penina. Penina, kindly unmute from your end.
Hello.
Oh, this is Honorina. Please proceed, Honorina. Penina, kindly mute.
Okay, sir. It's okay. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Honorina. I wanted to ask about the changes that you have talked about. Most of the JS teachers know that the books that we have been buying are set books. And I'm sure maybe like most of them might not be able to get this information. Is it possible for you to pass this information maybe in a more formal way, or so that maybe there could be other changes which you have made, which have been made and we are not aware? Because you talked about the fact that we are going to have these books to be as readers, the books that we were calling set books, and that the set books will be other set books will be introduced in the senior school. So if there are any other changes also in other subjects, is it possible for us to have those communications done to us officially so that we are not left out?
Thank you for the question. I think as an author, as a teacher, I would have no mandate in doing that, but the ministry. Maybe you can communicate that through your education offices. I'm curious, was there a circular that went out to schools identifying certain books as the set books?
Yeah, we were just told. Yeah, we were, when we were purchasing the books, we were told those are the set books. We were given the set books.
Allow me to ask, by whom?
I think it was a communication. I'm not so sure the real source of the communication. Because even from the textbook suppliers, they have been selling that even whenever we go for conferences, we have those set books. Some of them was communicated by the directors from the ministry. the directors, the sub-directors, yeah.
Okay, you have, I believe you're familiar with the designs?
Yeah.
Okay, have you seen any reference made to a set book in the designs?
Maybe I'll have to revisit that.
Oh, no,
So
I can tell you for a fact, there isn't any.
Okay.
Again, I don't want to speak for KICD, but
Yeah.
I think the position is initially, as I said, initially, there was that plan that there would be a set book, a play, a novella, but it didn't work out for some reason because they're supposed to read very widely.
Okay.
Yes,
Because
at
they are
this level. Mm.
Okay.
Like, if I may ask, which is the novella that you're reading in your school?
I can't remember them, but
so it's not even one.
It's not one. We are quite a number, because even we bought them, and we also asked them to buy.
So one a play. Okay. Are we saying that one is a play, one is a storybook, or there are several storybooks? Are there several storybooks?
Yeah, there are about 4 for Swahili and 4 for English.
That clearly then tells you there is no set book. That clearly tells you there is no set book. They are just recommended ones.
Okay.
Yes, maybe some are more popular or are preferred, but KICD itself, I don't work for KICD, but I associate with them.
Okay.
I can tell you no, and that's why they are not there in the design.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me add my voice to.
Okay. Yes,
Phyllis, let me add my voice to what you're saying. Clearly, we want to make it clear that there are no set books for JES.
Okay.
But I also want to hasten to add that there are selected readers that are available in the Orange book, but they are not set books. I would like also to make it clear also that everything that you require to teach the short story, to teach drama and prose is available in our Top Scholar series. We are very careful in the selection of the materials that we are using to expose learners to the genres of literature at that level. So I can guarantee you, even without using those so-called set books, which they are not really authorized, if you use our books, you clearly do not require another material for that level. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the information. Thank you so much.
Maybe, Madam Dr. Phyllis and Patrick, what I can also add to this is Kenneth Jumba. Is that nevertheless, there were some publishers who went around misinforming schools that their books are set books. They even generated some funny lists, and the same was discounted by KICD. So what Dr. Phyllis is saying is that we don't have set books at that level, but we noted when at that level there were some publishers who went around with some lists indicating that their books are sets, and they visited schools, they convinced some teachers, and this is the kind of confusion created. But the same, I think, KICD issued a circular to that effect. They even communicated to the concerned publishers that at that level, we do not have set books. The books, and especially our books, they are fully incorporated with all those aspects that you will need to teach all those genres. And the examples used are sufficient to help you maximally. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thank
Bwana GM,
you for that clarification.
Asante Honorina for that good question. I'm sure all of us on this call have benefited from the response of our General Manager, Publishing and Production, Mr. Kenneth Jumba, as well as our panelists this afternoon. Penina, are you now ready? Are you able now to take the mic and give your compliment, comment, or question? Penina? Karibu sana.
Thank you so much for this webinar. I have learned a lot. And the question that I had, I think it has already been answered about the readers. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Penina. Asante sana.
Madam Mkui.
Karibu sana.
Madam Mkui. Madam Mkui.
Yes, Mr. Koech.
Can I request that there's a very long question asked by Lawrence on chat box. Lawrence Kibet Koech has asked so many questions, a long question. Can I request to read this question so that it can be attempted to be answered? It may answer so many which are coming along. Can I request? Let me request to read this chat box question. One, Lawrence Kibet Koech, thank you for being here all for the 7 days now. You are asking general understanding of CBC English. 1. What strategies can teachers use to effectively teach English under the CBC framework? What strategies can teachers use to effectively teach English under CBC framework? 2. How does CBC curriculum ensure development of critical thinking and communication skills in English? Sorry, it has rolled. I've lost Koech. It's a very long. Yes, I found you. Another part, Chunguti be picking and Daktari be picking as I go ahead. Another part, resources and materials. Now, these resources and materials we shall answer as KLB, Chunguti will answer maybe. What KLB resources are available to help learners excel in English under CBC? 4, how does KLB ensure its English textbooks align with CBC standards and learning outcomes? CBC standards and learning outcomes, it has been prosecuted. Are there plans for more digital resources? Are there plans for more digital resources such as apps and online materials to support CBC learning English? Teaching and assessment. How are learners assessed in English to align with CBC competency-based approach? 7, what challenges do teachers face when implementing CBC English, and how can they overcome them? This looks like questions generated online from Google, but let's continue. Support for teachers and learners. How can KLB support teachers in remote areas to effectively teach CBC English? 9, are there specific workshops or training sessions KLB provides for CBC English teachers, teachers of English? This is one of them. I can answer number 9 straight. Yes, one of them is what has just taken place. Maybe we can go through, if there is anything that you may want to answer across all those many areas, someone can pick summarily before we take it back to Mukui.
Nguti, please go.
Even as Mr. Chunguti comes on board, participant Koech, you will realize Daktari has prosecuted across all those questions and you've had answers. The truth is that Kenya Literature Bureau has sufficient learning resources mounting on the wall continuously for you to see how equipped you will be in matters. Curriculum is, revised curriculum is, along with the readers which I have not mentioned. We have sufficient learning resources for you. I've showed from PP to grade 9, Madam Dr. Phyllis Mwangi has continuously mentioned what she has done and what we have done as an organization. So far, I want to believe, Koech, you have many questions. You have stumbled on the answers during the presentation, but confirmation from the Bureau, from KLB, we have sufficient learning resources enough for you to be a great teacher at your station. Back to you, Mukui.
But just to add on what Coach you said, in terms of resources and materials, yes, we can clearly say without any fear of contradiction that the materials we provided are sufficient. They cover all the aspects of the curriculum designs 100%. They are approved by the KICD, Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. So we feel that we have provided what you require. Number two, how do we how do teachers teach critical thinking and communication? These are some of the competences that are well incorporated in our learning and teaching materials. I'll give an example. For instance, if you look at some of our passages, if you look at the questions that are crafted, they are basically taking you to high order thinking skills. They are developing the critical ability of the learners. We have also clearly in our teacher's guide enabled you as a teacher on how to ensure that these competences are achieved. For instance, collaboration and communication, how you ensure your learners work together in maybe in pairs, in groups. So there are all manner of suggestions that we've given in our teacher's guides to help you ensure that the learners acquire the competences that are required, the values and the PCIs. As for other plans for more resources, yes, we are thinking about what are the materials we can provide you. I can say again here that the Ministry of Education, in collaboration with us, KLB and KICD, are designing the Kenya Primary Literacy Program, where we will have materials that are supposed to provide you with resources to fill gaps in your teaching. For instance, there is a remediation program that is being discussed at the ministerial level, and there are also materials that we shall be developing coming next year. I also am aware that there are online materials, again, that we shall be partnering with the ministry, especially to help teachers teach sounds. We notice and we recognize the teaching of sounds is not a walk in the park. And because of that, again, under the Kenya Primary Literacy Program, there are plans to come up with an app that will help you teachers teach these sounds without much difficulty. So yes, we are thinking about additional resources for you teachers. Be on the lookout, probably beginning next year. We also think of a revision series that is coming up probably again next year that will enable teachers in junior school, to ensure that you have one-stop shop in terms of materials that will enable your learners to get out of JS having acquired all the required competences, skills, and attitudes. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Patrick. Madam Mukui, I think from there we may have to wrap up our Q&A session.
Mr. Coach, we have 4 hands. I think we can take the last 4 questions.
It's okay.
And I will request if we give you the microphone, please take a minute or less so that we're able to give our facilitators adequate time to respond to all the 4 virtual hands. I will request Dorcas Kathure, if you're ready. After Dorcas, we'll have Electin Musi.
Thank you. My name is Dorcas Kazure from Narok. Am I clear?
Yes,
you
we
are.
can hear you, Dorcas.
Thank you. One, I want to appreciate the good work that KLB you are doing. We have been using your books, and we can concur with whatever is being said here, that they align with the curriculum design. Number 2, I'll also wish to add on the issue of the class readers, that is in grade 7, 8, and 9. The truth is there are no set books, like you have just said, just to emphasize. What we have are class readers. We have, in grade 7, we have poetry being introduced. We have different publishers who have brought in their poetry books. So it is upon the school to choose one of the poetry book to get learners on how to answer questions on poetry. The only problem that came in is last year when NEC was giving their assessment, the SBA assessment, they used a particular book from a particular publisher, allow me not to mention names, and that one made that publisher go around telling schools and teachers that you can see this is the book that has been approved. But like you have just told us, if teachers will concentrate with the curriculum design, you'll realize that we don't have set books in grade 7, 8, and 9. And that is where we teachers we are going wrong, because we are not consulting the curriculum designs, but we are consulting publishers who are out there for business. So I concur with whatever you have said, that we don't have set books, we have class readers, and we have how a class reader should look like. For example, in grade 7 should be up from 1 to 100 pages. They are different. A school can choose. And at no point are we having questions being set in SBA that they are supposed to be answered in the idea of a set book. What is there is that those books are helping learners how to read and how to analyze questions, how to look for characters and other things. So KLB, we are very grateful. We have used your books. You are greatest cheer school. We really support whatever you are doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for confirming what we just said. Indeed, that is the factual truth of the matter.
Thank you, Doc, and thank you, Dorcas, for just reaffirming the position that our facilitators have just made it very clear to us this afternoon. Electin, we are almost winding up on the Q&A. Electin, when you're ready.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Electin.
Yeah, it's not a question. I'm just appreciating the work you're doing, you guys. I'm electing from Mombasa. I'm representing the Mombasa School Prairie. We started using your books last term, actually, and I just liked your books, and I hope that I'm going to get something good from them. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the support. There is a lot more in the higher levels. Watch the space. Will not disappoint.
Asante, Daktari, for giving us a vote of confidence, and we assure you, Electin, that we are here to stay, and we are the publisher and printer of choice. Finally, I will invite Kiangui Isaiah, and then Abraham Mwenje will be the last to speak. Kiangui, and then Abraham.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Karibu, Isaiah.
Thank you. This is Kiangwa Isaiah Gitekere from Komotobo Primaries in Kuria East, Migori County. I'm one of the teachers who are pioneers in the early Tusome literacy program. That was in 2015, the second term when it started. Those books you've mentioned that are for early grade, that is Kiswahili and English, are the best books. Why do I say so? For the 2015, 2016, I used them, but on a transfer, I went to a new school, 2017, 18. I was in upper, I didn't handle those books or the learners in the lower grades. 2019, I was again taken back to the lower grade and specifically grade 1. Those books address the 5 components of reading. That is 1, phonological awareness. 2, we have alphabetic principles, vocabulary, comprehension, and fluency in that order. Teachers who are present, if you are one of the pioneers or one who happened to train when the program was sponsored by the USAID, that was in between 2015 and 2017, those are the best teachers, I'm very sure. And I'm one of them. But the problem is sometimes on transfer, you don't handle those learners. We also have another problem that maybe a new teacher is employed, they take them to lower, and you don't induct those teachers. the reason as to why some teachers don't induct teachers is that they are not collaborative. And again, some teachers or heads of institution force teachers on how they are supposed to attend those learners. You see, once you forgo one of the components of reading in that book, the others will be a mess, especially the phonological awareness and alphabetic principles. Those parts are the best. People fail to use the pocket charts, which is very clear from those books. And that is where we mess. Personally, I want to say that those are the best books. And teachers, I've had even a CSO who are our seniors, and sometimes they facilitate those trainings where you are not conversant. Kindly consult those teachers who are conversant, and can we talk to our teachers in the best way so that we can be collaborating. I remember some sub-counties teachers had teams. They would be moving around observing others. Peer observation was done where you were able to learn from those who have the experience. I know in the interest of time, I may not talk much, but KLB, I'm telling you, those early grade to so many readers. And the other thing, somebody mentioned something to do with the readers. When those books were supplied at first 2015, you supplied those books with readers. I don't know whether it was you or the USA. Those readers were aligned with the books. Those stories in those readers, you'd get them in those books. So that was a kind of reinforcement. Currently, some head teachers or heads of institution, if I may say so, don't buy those readers. Those readers supplement the books. And I'm telling you, those learners who happen to use those books, they develop some of the core competencies like self-efficacy and learning to learn. Madam, may I beg to stop there because of time? And I'm saying thank you. I really applaud KLB for what you are doing. Thank you so much, Madam, and the entire KLB team.
And thank you for your vote of confidence. And yes, indeed, you have vouched for those Tusome products. They've evolved to another title, but as you say, they are the best.
Yes, I know the contents. Whether you change the title, I still understand them. You see the approaches and the contents, I know. You know, people who do not understand the contents, they are the order of the 5 components of reading. I'm telling you, I'm always with the pocket chart, which most of the teachers run away from. The oral blending, the oral segmenting, that is the best, madam. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to recognize Isaiah for the good work that you are doing. And I'm hoping that you are a champion, because in the program, we have champions that are supposed to spread the gospel for us, because we know reading is one of the challenges that our learners have been facing. And I would like also to tell you that moving forward, we have a revised edition of the materials that you've been using that will be coming to you. There are also teacher training that will be coming to you guys. So thank you so much for the support. Continue being a champion where you are and convince other teachers that is the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome, sir.
Continue spreading the gospel in Kure and wherever you may go next. Tunashukuru sana. Finally, Abraham Mwanje, you will be the last to speak with us today.
Hello.
Hello, Abraham. Karibu sana.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
So this is Abraham Wanje from Eldoret, and mine is to appreciate the good work done by KLB and the entire team. For sure, I have learned quite a lot, especially on the set books. As a school, we also got information, I think it was from the publishers, that there are books going around as purported to be set books. In fact, we are told our parents to purchase them. So were it not for this webinar, then it means that we could start teaching them as from next year. That's from grade 7 up to grade 9. So I really appreciate all the panelists for your information. And also on that, I've also learned a lot about the books, especially your course books, now that as a school, you have not been using them. But now from the information that I've got, maybe going forward, I'll advise the school to consider your books. Then lastly, I had a question on writing, especially I have a few learners who are not able to make a clear distinction between letter B and letter D. So you find that whenever this child maybe wants to write the word dad, he confuses the two. So maybe it starts with a B and then ends with a D, or starts with a D and then ends with a B. So it's been something I've been trying to work on, but unfortunately it's still, I haven't got the clear method or the best method to help these learners so that they're able to make the distinction between those two letters. So I don't know if there are any method that you will suggest for me to use to help these learners to be able to make a clear distinction between the two confusing letters. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I cannot purport to be an expert at that level, and that's why earlier I was looking for a fellow KLB author who has written for that level. But now I can speak as a linguist and say that that is developmental. If it is a D and a B, that is developmental. As they grow older, they'll definitely outgrow it. I think, of course, focused activities where they are writing it multiple times and varied. Give them varied stimulus to practice it. Can they color it? Can they cut it out? Can they shape them using modeling clay? You know, because you never know what appeals to them as learners. But if you just keep at it, they help each other practice it. With the time, they should outgrow that. That's definitely a stage in development. And you know, people don't learn at the same pace. So it's possible they are lagging behind, but they will definitely get rid of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Then lastly, I don't know whether it will be possible for us to get the slides from Dr. Phyllis.
I have no problem.
Okay.
So through KLB.
Yeah.
Especially now that you, and I apologize for that I was not using slideshow, so they may not have been very clearly visible. So I would have no objection.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your input.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Daktari, and thank you, Mr. Chunguti, for the insights you have shared with our attendees part of the morning and this afternoon. I want to thank you so much. And I want to return the program back to Mr. Koech, who will guide us on how we shall proceed. It is 30 minutes past midday. I don't think we want to keep our attendees too long. So Mr. Koech, over to you. And thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Madam Ukui. Just a minute. So, asante sana. Thank you so very much, Madam Ukui. Thank you, our great panelist, Dr. Phyllis Mwangi from Kenyatta University, Mr. Chunguti from KLB headquarters, for taking our teachers through today's program. It has been informative, it has been enriching. We too at Marketing Department have promised to avail the learning resources for your usage at school. Just to remind you, on the cover, as you can see on that screen, on that slide, we have the ECD books, the Skill Grow, the Early Grade, and the Fast Track Phonics for purposes of pronunciation. Building strong foundation in pronunciation, Fast Track Phonics is a good read for that matter, along with the language activity book for book 1 and book 2 to supplement our main book, Skill Grow. On grade 1, 2, 3, we've had you and we've felt you to the effect that we are confirming to you that we are distributing the early grade formally to Some books, and we've revised the books. Confidently, they will be available for your usage from January. As soon as January starts, your books will be available to supplement our visionary for purposes of pronunciation, enriching pronunciation built by Fast Track Phonics. We do have English early grade, and for the activity books, we do have the visionary. Visionary is extended into grade 4-5, as we've said in the past, and hands over the learners to the junior school, which have been revised and available. The revised series will be available for your uptake in the new year. Grade 9 will be a strong foundation as you hand over learners to the senior school. We at Kenya Literature Bureau will continue to give you what it takes to build your learners in the best way. Lastly, we have a new baby on the block, new kid on the block, the latest reader, ideal for JSS, Nina, by Dr. Agwix Otieno, who has done a number of books indicated at the blurb, as you can see. We encourage you to use this among as other readers. I will post the other readers on my status, WhatsApp status, the price list on the on my status, so that you may be able to read, select your books. We have a team of marketers distributed across the country to guide you on how to acquire Kenya Literature Bureau books. You can even call on those officers to come to your school so that they may guide you on what resources are available at Kenya Literature Bureau. I've mounted their names on that screen, as you may see. Let me push it up so that I may even remove my name, because everyone knows me now. Beginning from Joseph, I have myself, and then Joseph Nyiri, going all the way. Wondering why it's not coming fully up. Those are our regular officers out there in the field. I want to encourage all of you to reach out. Pick on the officers from your territories. From Coast, we have Doris. North Rift, we have Sembele. Karonjoki in Mount Kenya. Phil Rono in Kericho. Mariana in Nakuru, among others. Nyiri in Nairobi. These are the officers who will help you, guide you on what resources, learning resources we are not able to discuss here, are available for you from Kenya Literature Bureau. We encourage you to reach out to these officers using this list. I will also mount this list on my WhatsApp status so that you may further correctly pick the list. Otherwise, from Kenya Literature Bureau head office, I want to sincerely thank all of you for being patient participants, very engaging participants in today's facilitation. We take pride in Dr. Phyllis too, just like you do, in what she has done for us and has continued to do and will continue to do for us at Kenya Literature Bureau. You as teachers, we use bookshop model for book distribution. Ask for your books, go purchase your books from bookshop. If they do not have, you will have ignited the reason why they need to call for the books. Those schools which had indicated in their book list books which may not be what Daktari have spelled out. Following how you've enjoyed our presentation, and so are our books, be they for grade 9 or any other, kindly go out of your way and readjust the list that you send with your learners for purchase for the new year use. Schools using book list, I beseech you, take our Top Scholar Visionary Series, All Skill Grow, or early grade to Some. Ask your learners to change the English so that they may read what we've covered briefly today. For the fund schools, those schools which buy books, we are looking forward to partnering with you. Buy and read Kenya Literature Bureau. Use KLB publications for English as course books. Together, we shall grow your schools in the best manner. I want to encourage your teachers and schools to participate in the remaining 2 other workshops or online trainings. For tomorrow, we shall have Kiswahili. For Friday, we shall have CRE or Religious Studies, CRE stroke IRE. I've seen someone asking from Mombasa, what will happen to IRE? We have slotted along with CRE. It's a Religious Studies webinar. So we have CRE and IRE on Friday. Otherwise, from KLB, from English perspective, I want to appreciate all of you. We have a big host of readers. I'll post on my status for your uptake, because I may not send to each of you individually, apart from the very new ones like Nina, which I'll still post individually. Otherwise, thank you so very much for being part of KLB, for willing to support KLB, for willing to grow the organization that you own as Kenya, as a Kenyan. Thank you so very much. May I request our GM, Publishing and Production Directorate, to give the closing remarks before I call on someone to close the order of prayer. Mr. Kenneth Jumba, give the closing remarks. Mr. Jumba, are you close to your mic? Mr. Nyiri, are you in the house? Mr. Nyiri?
Mr. Nyiri is in the house.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you
Give
very
us
much.
closing remarks on behalf of General Manager Jumba or General Manager Mutunga. Thank you.
Asante sana, Bwana Koech, and thank you very much, Dr. Phyllis. It's been a while. That was a wonderful presentation. We have gone back to class, all of us, together with the teachers of this country, and learned a bit, and quite a bit, about this English language. And of course, you have also ably been able to represent Kenya Literature Bureau to inform all of us and our teachers that we are doing what, in writing our books, we are doing what is required of us by KICD to ensure that the books are compliant to CBC. Thank you very much, teachers from across the country. You are a blessing to us. You have patronized our books for many years. We have been, across the many years, we've been known to produce high quality English books, and you have not let us down. You have always gone for the best. I have liked the comments from teachers in regard to our books, that have been said today here. I know you share same sentiments from across the country, and therefore we cannot take that for granted. We appreciate all that. We promise you that even as we go to senior school, our products will be the best. We will align ourselves to the design as is required. And we'll also ensure that even materials that are not necessarily for, what we call course materials or for use in class, we will produce the best to ensure that this language is promoted and is practiced as it should be. Otherwise, from where I sit, I also want to assure you that the books that are to be published for the new curriculum for CBC, the revised ones are available, particularly English for grade 9, for those teachers of grade 9 who are here. If you call on your bookshelves right now, as after this webinar, you will be able to get the teacher's guides and the learner's books for grade 9. Those ones, I can assure you from where I am that the books are available. They are available in bookshops. They are also available in our customer service center at Kijabe Street for those who can access. And they will be available to all the bookshops across the country. And therefore, you can call on any of the contacts that have been provided so that you get that. All the other materials, including the Tusome books, we will also continue to monitor and ensure that they are in your nearest bookshop. Having said all that, and without further ado, I want to appreciate the sacrifice of using your bundles and using your time so that we learn together. These webinars are not ending here. We have Kiswahili and CRE lined up for this week. Through the platform that you got to know about us, please check. You will get the link for the rest of the days. And if you can't get it there, of course, on Facebook, you will still get our information available there. So Justin, nashukuru sana for your proper and good coordination of the program. And I'm sure you have learned a lot. On the screen, I can see contacts of our able facilitator, Dr. Felis Mwangi. And teachers, there is also the contact of Mr. Patrick Chunguti, who is our assistant manager publishing, and is also the one who was coordinating today's presentations. So kindly pick the contacts together with the others for the sales team to enable you reach us anytime you may want to do that. Asante sana, God bless you all, and thank you very much. Back to you, Koech.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Joseph Nyiri. Joseph Nyiri is our Assistant Sales and Marketing Manager. He doubles also as Assistant Marketing Manager, Customer Service, based in Kijabe. He is our Regional Sales Manager, the Eastern Hub, the hub of Kenya, from Nairobi all the way to Mombasa, across to the Northeastern. So we appreciate your role and your energy for coordinating and ensuring that Bureau reaches to the teachers of Eastern Hub. Thank you so very much, Mr. Nyiri. I want to sincerely wish every participant, our panelists, and KLB team, including the back-end team at ICT, who've made our facilitation seamless, our conversation seamless, our training seamless, and to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a productive 2025, powered by Kenya Literature, Top Scholar, Visionary, or Skill Grow, along with KLB, Tusome, or I. Asanteni, may God bless you. May Mr. Adede come on board to close with a word of prayer. Adede.
Thank you so much, Bwana Justin. I hope you can hear me.
You're audible.
Thank you so much. Let's believe and pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, dear Lord, we thank you. We glorify your name for the far that you have come with us. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for this day that you granted us, that you may sit down and learn about matters that will be bettering education and the lives of our children, Jehovah God. I want to appreciate you so much for the gift of our facilitators, Dr. Mwangi and Patrick, who has enabled us to learn and understand various insights of English language and the way we should teach it, Jehovah God. Thank you for teachers who sacrifice their time and resources to attend this webinar so that we can all learn together. Thank you for the entire team from KLB. Thank you for everyone, Jehovah God. Even as we depart, Jehovah God, we want to dedicate our lives unto you, that you may take good care of us, keep us safe, and always provide for us our needs. For this, my humble prayer, in the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Torres,
Amen.
thank you so very much. Amen, amen, amen. Asanteni
Thank you so much.
Members and panelists and participants can leave at their pleasure, though the room will be closed in a short while. Time we had requested was up to 12. The webinar room, Zoom room, will be closed anytime. As they finish recording, it will close. Asanteni sana. Keep engaging Kenya Literature Bureau through the social media lines, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, WhatsApp, which Mukui had said in the shared the contact in the morning. Asanteni sana.